Air Force pilots capturing on videotape what are said to be 11, count them, 11 UFOs, unidentified flying objects. They are officially that. Bright objects, some sharp points of light moving quickly across the sky. The tape called historic by some. Members of the Mexican Defense Department saying it's the first time UFOs have had the backing of any country's armed forces. Now, a group of activists calling on the United States government to end what it says is an embargo on the truth about extraterrestrial life. What is that thing on your screen? With us now from Washington is Stephen Bassett, founder and executive director of the Extraterrestrial Phenomena Political Action Committee. Last time he was here, he was running for Congress, was unsuccessful in that venture. But I will ask you today, sir, the Mexican government, the Mexican military says, hey, we took these pictures, these are UFOs. What was that, you know?
This is significant for two reasons, Shepard. One, this is released by the Defense Ministry of Mexico. This is a message being sent to the United States government that Mexico and many other governments are losing patience with our government's intransigence in ending this embargo. Other messages have been sent by France in 1999 with the Cometa report, and by the United Kingdom when they released a substantial number of documents regarding the Bentwaters case in 2000. Many countries know about the extraterrestrial presence, but they deferred to the United States with regard to the timing of when disclosure would take place. But they're simply losing patience.
And videotapes of discs, but never anything like this, taken by such sophisticated cameras on board military vehicles.
Oh, there's been plenty of...
But not as clear and widespread as this, and government confirmed in this way. I'm just saying that these are unusual in that
Oh, no,
way.
it's happened many times before, but this is the first time it's been released. Believe me, there is evidence like this in the archives of every major first world government in the country, but they release this publicly in a news conference in Mexico City. That's the difference.
Years that have dug into this, very talented people.
How about in addition to that, though? You know, we talk so much about the Roswell findings, what's there, what wasn't there, the secrecy surrounding that. But from your studies of astrophysics, from being an astronaut, from going to the moon, from studying the pictures of the galaxy, tell me something that you've seen or that you've studied that you just feel in your gut there is something else out there.
Well, you're saying it right. It's an intuitive feeling. After looking at the heavens and the modern pictures of the Hubble telescope, from the Hubble telescope, and seeing the complexities and the beauty and recognizing the universe is much more complex and magnificent than our earlier pictures, our earlier understanding would have ever let us imagine. And so that, you're right, that's the intuitive aspect of it. But the real question here that we've been addressing is, have we been visited? Are we, since we are now a spacefaring civilization, having only gone to our own moon, but have our visitors, the aliens, have they come to us? And all the evidence says yes.
So what is it that you want to see the Obama administration release? What is it specifically? What do you think is there that we need to see?
Well, the other nations, and this has been a global phenomenon, other nations and just in recent history, the Belgian nation, the French, the Brazilians, the Mexicans, the Argentines, all of their files have been opened up, and there's no reason in the world why the U.S. files, the leading nation in the world in this period, should have been reticent in opening ours too, except special interest groups.
So Edgar, but let me ask you, I mean, for all the stories that have leaked over all the years, I mean, and there's always somebody somewhere that's going to leak something, and if there was really something there, don't you think by now somebody would have said something?
Oh, it has. People have been saying it all along. But for example, just the explanations of the Roswell incident has changed every few years, and a new story comes out. If it were really that simple, if it weren't what it really was, you wouldn't need all of these various stories coming out. And so the attempt to cover this up and to disguise the issue and create misinformation and disinformation is very well recorded. And the documentation from very fine researchers like Dr. Robert Wood and his son Ryan, who have investigated all of the early documents, all point to the same story. Hey, we're not alone here when we've been visited.
Well, there are many cases which are now in the public domain about this. The Ministry of Defence here in Britain has been investigating UFOs since the 1950s, but other countries as well have had these sorts of incidents, and I think it's a question of trying to put them together and see what pattern emerges. And there was a case in England in 1957 where a pilot attempted to bring down a UFO by firing rockets at it. There was a case in Iran in 1976. The UFO, whatever it was, and we don't know, managed to deactivate the pilot's air-to-air weapons system. Well, yes, and indeed that's the exciting news. The Ministry of Defence is in the process of declassifying and releasing its entire archive of UFO files going back decades.
And when will that
some
happen?
of that material. Some of it has already been released and is available at the National Archives at the website. Some of it, you know, it's going to take about a year or so to finish this process, but it's happening right now, and people are going to be able to see these sorts of incidents for themselves. But like I say, it's not just Britain. This has happened all around the world.
Made another step closer to finding the holy grail of all this astronomical research that we do, and that is to find a planet that's the size of the Earth in the right location around its star so that it could possibly have liquid water and therefore, of course, you know the next line, possibly have some form of life. So that's the big step here. We found planets for the first time that are about the size of Earth, and that's a big step forward. When we look at the number of stars available in this galaxy alone, some 300 billion stars, well, the chances are that there are about 23 stars with planets like ours for every 100 stars we observe. So there's a huge number of possibilities for us.
Disclosure is at hand. It is very close, and the American people need to prepare themselves very soon for an announcement from our government that there is, in fact, an extraterrestrial presence engaging this planet and the human race.